again. Try this again. I was talking to nobody a few minutes ago. Okay. So this is gonna, yes, I took notes on my pharmacy bag about relationships specifically, because it's gonna be a series. Specifically, you're not in a relationship yet. You're wanting to start dating, looking for a relationship. These are the things, in my opinion, that are very important to keep in mind while you're on this quest of your other. I need to say a few things first. I had to get up really early today, so I'm really tired. I had to take my dog in to get his surgery done. He's fine. Anyway, that's why my hair looks a little bad. And it has static too, so. And, he's coming home tomorrow, and it's intensive therapy, physical therapy. He's gonna hate being confined, very strict confined. So, I have a feeling I'm not gonna be a very happy person for a while. And then we get to refresh after several months. Refresh service dog training. So, in case you don't know, he didn't just tear his knee ligament, what would be the ACL in a human. It just wasn't there anymore. She said usually we trim everything, and that it was just gone. So, and I think she said there was some other ligaments missing. So he has a fake knee ligament now. And 20 to 50% of dogs tear the other knee. It was, anyway, expensive, but I know the vet really well. Like, we're kind of friends, so she said I can pay in payments, which is cool. And I live in a rural area, so she actually learned. This is interesting, so I'm going to tell you. We had a bigger dog that tore her knee ligament. In fact, she tore both. And she had this like $2,000 surgery on the first knee. And then these dogs attacked her, and while she was trying to get away, she tore the other knee ligament. And she was only 2 years old. And so our vet said, well, her mentor, when she was in vet school, which was a while ago, does big dog, this special surgery for big dogs. And she came and picked up our dog, took him to the University of Columbia to do the surgery with him to see how he did it, and to learn how to do it. And lo and behold, we get another dog with a torn ligament, and she gets to do the surgery. So isn't that just fascinating? But it would have cost a lot more. And he's a smaller dog, so that's better. Bigger dogs, they generally do the thing where they put metal in there and stuff. Okay, I know you're not here for that. You're also not here for, but I'm going to tell you, my hands are not filthy. That is stain for wood. Broom making, yes. I have 6 brooms right now surrounding me. So, we shipped one, and I'm very, very nervous that it got there okay because we had to fashion a box long enough because mine hadn't come yet, my long ones, and I'm nervous, and then I'm nervous if they're gonna like it or not. Um, so yeah, okay, we're gonna go to the relationships and dating. Hold on, I'm back. You didn't even know I was gone. There was an alarm going off. Okay. Number one is, are you ready to work on yourself? And I don't mean this in a way that you're not enough for another person. I mean that in relationships and dating are hard and stressful, and whatever your situation is, don't compare your situation to anybody else's, but you should be take an honest look at where you are right now, and if you are the best that you can be, let me see, that's not quite what I meant. What I meant was, you're doing all the things you're supposed to be doing to take care of yourself, and not just take care of yourself, but care about yourself. You got to do work for yourself, with yourself, about yourself. If I like right now, I would say for me is not a good time to be looking for or entering a relationship, because my mood situation has started to do something different, and we're still trying to figure that out. And is this like a blip? Is it, am I going to go back to my usual or what? So I would say, honestly, right now, if it's not a good time. Now, during this period that I had, this like long 5 years, I was holding, I was working, and, excuse me, and I was self-aware and was able to just go about life without focusing too much on everything related to bipolar. I mean, I followed all my rules, but it wasn't in the forefront. It was in the background. It was just routine. Would have been, if I were so inclined, would have been perfect. If you are not in a place where you're your best, and that you're the best that you can be, and that sounds like, oh, if you just apply yourself you can be successful. And no, what I'm saying is, look at yourself, be honest about, and if you're depressed and stuff, you can't be honest. You're gonna think, well, I'm a loser. So no, this isn't a good time. A relationship, if you're not healthy, um, that at least that when I say healthy, I mean it relatively to each individual. If you are not the healthiest that you can be, you're going to set yourself up for frustration and disappointment, possibly heartbreak, then falling into a depression. Um, are you need to be able to be in a space where you're good with yourself, with who you are. You know, I am a person, I have bipolar disorder, so I have these limitations. And you meet somebody who shows interest in you, but they drink or use drugs or want to stay up late every night. You know, they're not good for someone that has bipolar disorder. And by the pressure of wanting to um, have a relationship, and you allow, you know, because if you, you know, if you're like, no, I gotta be to bed by a certain time, if that's the kind of person that is gonna be like, oh, well, you're such a buzzkill, they're not gonna be good for you, and you're better off without them. That's not the person for you. You know, I mean, is it, if you do go ahead and go along with them and then it screws up your moods even worse, or if you were fine and it makes things bad again, you're going to end up losing the relationship anyway. Um, you know, because it's just impossible um, to have the initial part of relationships in chaos. I mean, some people love it, love chaos, and they're exactly who you should stay away from. You're better off alone. I don't know how to make someone feel that, but you are. You're going to, because instead of somebody caring for you, you will be better suited to care for yourself if it's a person that's not good for you, who has a person with bipolar disorder. You can't deny the fact that you have bipolar disorder. Um, it's so many conditions used to be people would hide them, they were secret, they were embarrassing, it meant you were stupid or crazy. You know, like I've noticed dyslexia used to be a thing that people didn't talk about. It was like, she's dyslexic, you know, and now they're like out there and it's no big deal. Now we all know what it is and we get it and it's no big deal, you know, because they have ways of teaching and um, managing coping. It's not going away in most cases, but so just you have bipolar disorder. There are going to be people out there that you will be interested in dating or having a relationship with, but they're not good for you. Move on. Either eliminate them entirely, be on a friendship basis. If you are not ready, care for yourself. Um, and if you aren't caring for yourself, about yourself, you're going to attract unhealthy people, and they're only going to make it more difficult for you to get better, to feel better, to get in a better place. Any time in relationships where one person is like, if you, I, how am I trying to say this? You have two people, and say they're both in a state of chaos, and they get together. They think, well, we're both a mess, so we'll fit together just great. And then one of them decides, I don't want to be in chaos anymore. I want to take care of myself. I want to love myself. I want to care about myself and do things that are good for me. And the other person is staying in the chaos. It won't last. It's it it's just impossible. That is why in substance abuse, alcoholism, when one partner gets sober, they usually get divorced. Because even if the other keeps drinking or gets better either, because all of a sudden they're like, we don't have anything in common anymore. So we're only on this earth for a short period of time. Don't waste any of it with someone who's toxic. Now, as I said before, kind of take an honest look at yourself. You may be a toxic person right now. So don't go into somebody else's life until you have figured out a way to not be toxic. You can have bipolar disorder and not be toxic. You can have bad mood episodes and not be toxic. So there you go. Look at yourself, be honest with yourself. What things do you need to change? Is there anything you need to work on? Are you really ready for a relationship? If not, the problem is you don't have a relationship with yourself. And I know that sounds kind of like hippie-ish or new. Oh, what is that term? Like you go to positivity seminars. But that's true. And I just forgot what I just said. But enjoy taking care of yourself. Enjoy, through the day, taking stock. How is my body feeling? Am I tense? Am I jittery? What's happening with my mind? Is it slow? Is it fast? I know that when I do that, when I start to feel like something's just off, I just stop and take stock. And if it's the jittery, edgy kind of thing, usually a short walk, and I know we all hate to walk, bike. I don't know about COVID and swimming, but anything repetitive like that. Just keep trying, never give up. um, if you if you feel like you have tried everything, don't give up. Keep trying. Don't give up. Never give up. Keep trying. Even though you're like, I've tried everything. Keep trying. Never give up. And I'll tell you as an example. Way back when I was diagnosed, they put me on lithium. Regular old lithium. And this was me. Okay. I couldn't drink out of a cup, and I wasn't even at a therapeutic dose. And so I could not take it. And they tried Depakote, Topamax, Triliptol, Lamictal, Gabapentin, everything under the sun. And Zyprexa and Risperidol and all the, and anyway, I was in and out of the hospital all the time. And then years later, they came out with Lithobid, which was continuous release. So it puts out a little bit slowly throughout the day. So instead of peaking like this, you get a little bit of a boost in the beginning, and then, you get a nice ride for the rest of the day. And they tried me on that, did beautifully. Now, the time between, I had hard times. I had desperate times. But I never gave up. I had times when I was depressed and I'm like, nothing's worth it and all that, and you can't help that. But coming out of the depression, I'm like, yes, I have bipolar disorder, I have it bad, it really sucks, my medication's not working, but I'm not giving in. I'll never give in. Life is too short for giving in. So, to say you have tried everything, I'm wondering if you really have. Be honest with yourself. I tried group therapy for women with mood disorders, hated it, but I tried it. I tried BetterHelp online therapy, loved it, and it's only on pause because I have to pay for my dog's surgery. Try. So, the reason I'm saying all this is so that when you meet somebody, and I'm going to talk about this other aspect in a minute, and you talk to them about your bipolar disorder, you can say, I do have bipolar disorder. I'm on medication for it. I do have mood fluctuations, but I do everything that I can to take care of me. So it has as little effect on living as as possible. With that, I think you would end up with more acceptance than I have bipolar disorder, I'm on disability, I can't go in public. I mean, it's like selling yourself. You get it positive out there first, just so you don't scare them away right away. Okay, but I'm going to get to how you talk about having bipolar disorder to somebody you're interested in. So, but first, don't don't set your expectations too high. Now that does not mean because you have bipolar disorder and you're on disability and you have panic attacks that you have to settle, that you will only be able to match up with people that are bad for you. And because that's not true. At the same time, yet your requirements, don't, expectations, yes, expectations. I'm getting things a little wrapped around here. Don't have too high expectations in the people around you. You may, if you open up yourself, you may find that you're surprised that I feel really comfortable with this person. She or he is not Adonis, or I don't know who's hot these days. I don't know. But I feel comfortable and I'm smiling and they seem comfortable with me. That's what your expectations should be. Not, we're going to get married, we're going to have kids, I'm going to have a job. Do you get what I'm saying? But don't settle for someone that is going to treat you like shit and make the rest of your days hell. And that's what happened to my brother, among other things. Don't settle, because as long, if you have a relationship with yourself, if you date someone and you start to feel like this person is not accepting, this person is superficial, you can say to yourself, I don't feel like this is a good fit. I can take care of myself in between people I meet, and I can say when I don't think this doesn't feel healthy, this doesn't feel good, I don't feel comfortable. And before you go out there, sit down, get a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm telling you, don't do it in your head. Do it on paper. Make a list of what is important to you in a partner. Make a list. And then you will know if there's someone you're interested in. Do they fit these qualifications? Are your expectations too high? Are you emphasizing the wrong things? For example, growing up, I was always tiny. Oh, she's so little. I miss those days. I'm not, oh, I'm short, but I'm not little. Okay, and so, um, so here I am, blonde, petite, registered nurse, and I'm engaged. And I know that a big part of why he liked me, which this isn't very good, but was because of the fact that I was petite and blonde. And people told me I was pretty then, so pretty. And I guess you would call it like a trophy type thing. And I looks a lot different than this. And so I'll put this on my filmmaker. Maybe put a picture of me. And when I was graduating from nursing school. Anyway, so the bipolar came, and I was put on medication. I was in the hospital a lot. There's nothing to do in some hospitals but eat. And medication it just makes you hold on to every calorie like it's drowning. And and I gained weight. And I could see in his eyes the way he looked at me and the way he didn't initiate contact anymore. And I remember thinking and realizing that I was only of value to him as long as I was little and petite. Now, what would have happened if we had kids and I gained weight? What? Anyway, so that's good that I did not end up staying with this person. So, what is really important to you? Someone I feel comfortable with, someone I can laugh with, someone I can walk with, someone I can do new things with, someone that has some of their own issues that they're working on, but we aren't gonna hamper each other. Those are appropriate qualifications. You know. So, um, okay. Sorry. Okay, so, and simply avoid anyone that makes you feel uncomfortable. Now, the person makes you feel uncomfortable. The situation is different. You're going to feel uncomfortable. That's the nature of dating and getting into new relationships. There is discomfort because you're nervous and you're worried. Do they like me? Do I look okay? You know, but does the person make you feel off, uncomfortable, more stressed, conflicted? That's someone you don't want in your life. And when you invite them in and knowing they're going to make things worse for you, yeah, don't invite anybody into your life that's going to make things worse. you think, oh, because I'm seeing somebody, I'm better. I'm going to feel better. But people can make your life hell. And if you develop a relationship with yourself, and I need to do a whole thing on that, how to develop a relationship with yourself, because you can't do a whole lot until you've done that. Really get to know yourself, the good and the bad. Um, that way you can walk away from people like, no, you're just gonna really make things worse for me, so I'm just gonna go, chill by myself, and that's okay. Um, so, like I said earlier, oh, you have to you have to decide for yourself, and it may come just as the moment comes. How are you going to um, tell the person that you have bipolar disorder? By the way, never, ever, 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 ever say, I'm bipolar. You are not bipolar. You have bipolar disorder, you have a mood disorder. I'm almost preferring the mood disorder label because people are starting, have been using bipolar in completely the wrong way, but to describe something very negative, or um, lighthearted, and I don't like that at all. But it's very important not to identify with your illness. You are a person first, and you have a disorder that you take care of. You are not that disorder. There is more to you, and you'll know those things when you develop a relationship with yourself. So, um, so you may prefer to just like get it over with, so you don't have to drag it out date after date, wondering, and just on the first date say, hey, I'm just gonna let you know right now, I have bipolar disorder. Sometimes I have problems, issues with my mood. I take medication, but, I do everything I can to take care of myself. And they come or they go. Um, or you can do the sort of testing the waters tactic, where you're like, maybe let it slip here or there that you take some medication or whatever. And if they ask what it's for, you can say, oh, sometimes I have problems with my moods, and then see how they respond to that, um, and work your way up to, well, yeah, it's bipolar disorder, but, I deal with it. So, whatever your style is, um, just don't bombard them with the whole, um, I mean, if they ask questions, you can answer them, but just don't bombard them with the whole, I have bipolar disorder, I'm on disability, I take 18 different medications, none of them are working. I was up all night for the past week, and, don't freak them out, even if that's true. um, and you'd be surprised at how many people are like, yeah, well, I take medication for schizophrenia, so you're like, oh, okay, that's cool. Um, you may, they wouldn't have anything like this um, in the rural area, I don't think, where I live, but I bet they have closer to the more populated areas. Dating for people, speed dating for that's kind of funny. Speed dating for someone with bipolar disorder. I'm manic, so of course it's speed dating. um, or something like that. But if you have social anxiety as well, but it's not going to be as bad because everybody there is going through the same thing. So, and also, it's like if you're going to go on a date and you're really anxious socially, when I do something really big for me, so it involves a lot of people or something I don't want to miss, but I'm going to panic. Okay, I had my favorite band in the whole world, Sleater Kinney. They put out this album. Now, this last one, it sucked. The one before. They're getting up in age. They're a little bit younger than me. They aren't going to be touring a lot anymore, and I missed the one before, and I was really upset. And I hadn't been out to something like a concert since I was a teenager. And they were coming to Kansas City, and I was going to do this. And my mom understands, and it does help if you have someone who understands. And so before that night, we drove, and just so I could see during the day the building where I would be parking, what looks familiar, and we could hear some music coming from the auditorium. I was in seats. I wasn't like down in the... I paid a lot of money for a nice seat and bought everything they had on. That's the beauty of being an adult. Grown adult. But I mean, most of the people were around my age anyway, so, and I took Xanax before, and in my car, I got there very early. I wanted to park while it was still light out. It was about dusk, and I parked, and I sat in my car and relaxed, let the Xanax kick in, and made sure I had everything the night before laid out. And my mom was like, okay, you have your ticket, you have your phone, you have your GPS, and wore my confident clothes. So if you're going on a date, say, or a meetup or something, you can do that. You can go to the place the day before if you've never been there. You can, hopefully you have someone you can pull in and say, okay, I want to wear this. I'm going to this kind of place. Is it appropriate? Do I look clean? Do I look, appropriate? And if you do take anything for anxiety, about an hour before, but probably not drive, and don't drink with your anxiety medication. Okay, so I've said a lot in a short period of time here. The rundown, are you ready? I know this is what you want, but are you ready? If not, develop a relationship with yourself, start taking care of yourself, start advocating for yourself, only you know you. And then when you feel, well, nobody ever feels 100% unless they're completely clueless people. Um, but you feel like you're the best you can be. Think about what's important to you. Don't set your expectations too high. Don't settle. Don't just take whatever comes your way, especially if you can feel it being bad for you, taking you to bad places. Um, and and figure out how you feel like telling people that you have bipolar disorder. Um, a lot of people with bipolar disorder have relationships and date. It's more difficult. I would say the question of would it be easier to date someone that has bipolar disorder too? I would say that probably not. Because it's like the same reason you don't eating disorder groups are a bad idea. They just, in AA sometimes is a bad idea, is they just learn tricks and, of the trade and feed off of each other, or you see somebody manic and you miss it so you don't take your meds, and then you get to be manic together, and isn't that fun? But it is bad for you. Every episode you go through is affecting your brain and makes all your functions more difficult. It's called kindling. You need to avoid ups and downs as much as possible. And I would think that it would be too tempting. I mean, can you imagine at your lowest and your partner's at their lowest too? I mean, that could be disastrous. Neither one of you would be able to say, maybe we need to take you to the hospital. That sounds kind of terrifying to me. And I have a bad irritability issue with the mixed episode. And that's one reason I really don't feel like having a relationship, because I say horrible things to people and I throw things and I slam things, and my mom was going to seriously move out of the house and leave me in this house alone because, and even though I told her, I'm sorry, but I can't stop it. I'm not good for other people. But I think if somebody has a different disorder, that they would be empathetic, sympathetic. I tend to get those two words a little mashed together. But not, you wouldn't have that feeding off of each other kind of thing. So maybe you could help each other. Where one is weak, the other is strong kind of thing. I think that would be preferable, and somebody with no problems, which doesn't exist, but there are a lot of people that think they do have no problems, with someone that has significant bipolar or mood disorder. I'm I'm not sure how rewarding of a relationship that would be. I imagine it could work for some people. If you have one person who's more of a caregiver, you know, that likes to play the role of the giver, then they might be okay with taking care of someone who needs a little supervision. But but what life are they leading? So um so I would say someone that also had a different thing, Tourette's, or dyslexia, or maybe a different psychiatric issue, um, but nothing that's going to put your health in danger. You're never alone. When I talk about being alone, I don't ever feel alone because I have a relationship with myself. I'm never alone. Now, when I feel depressed, I sometimes feel alone in my depression, but not alone as a person. As in, nobody else can understand how I am feeling right now. I'm like, you can, like, my mom, she can see me cry. She can see me having no energy. And she can see all that, but she'll never know bipolar depression. And I feel alone in that. But I never feel alone as a person. And I don't ever feel lonely. So just dropped a bunch of quarters. Um, so that's that. And the next one will be um, you're in a relationship and you are diagnosed with bipolar disorder, or things are different or worse, or just already being in a relationship. That's what the next one in this series will be. So I would appreciate any comments, and push the button, thumbs up if you like it. And I will see you in the next one. I don't know when I'll be doing a live again, when I'm not so tired, I guess. Okay. Good night.